Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where friends and fans come together to BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss a musical artist. Some upcoming artists we are covering are The Misfits, My Chemical Romance, and Typo Negative. If those interest you, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Our goal is 300 subscribers. Baby steps. Today we are doing a one-shot on Minor Threat. Because of their smaller discography, we aren't doing our normal show with the rankings and whatnot. We're just going to talk about the band, the legacy, and some of our favorite songs. I want to give a shout out to Cam. He's a YouTube follower who says good music didn't start till 2004. Go listen to Minor Threat, Cam. With me today, he remembers the salad days, Tim.
What's up?
He's screaming at the wall, Copeland.
He's our little friend. That's Jason.
Oh, I was going to say someday we'll look back and laugh with Jason is what I was thinking.
Yeah, well, that's a good one too. I mean, there's so many good ones. There's so many good ones.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear it.
He's not anybody's stepping stone.
That's right. Right. He's not wearing white either.
Y'all making me see red.
He's out of step.
Bunch of filler up in this room.
Ooh.
He's got something in his eyes.
That's a banger.
I'm cashing in. Screw you guys. All right.
Well, I'm seeing red, and I don't want to hear it.
Minor Threat. I honestly can't remember when I heard them, where I heard them, how I got into them. They're just one of those, you start listening to punk rock, you start hearing about Minor Threat. Actually, I think I had Fugazi's Repeater many years before I had Minor Threat, which is weird, but that's just how I think the CD Warehouse had Fugazi on there, so I think I picked that up.
There was a lot of Fugazi CDs there. It was nice.
Yeah. But we're not going to talk about that crappy place. We're going to talk about shout out Bass Sound because they had Out of Step.
Oh, yeah. The real local record store, the good one. Shout out to Billy, keeping it real still to this day.
That's awesome.
We have the same birthday. I love that. It's pretty cool. It makes me happy.
Yeah, they were good dudes. So, Minor Threat. Anybody else? How'd you get into it?
Yeah. I mean, mine's, it's a big story. I'd love to hear Tim's, though.
I mean, mine's not a big story. Mine's very similar to Jason's. Like, you start listening to punk rock and somebody says, well, what do you think of Minor Threat? And you're like, well, let me hear it. And they're like, they hand you this CD and they're like, here's everything you need.
Yep.
And although it's not, since the release of this, they have put out, the first, the demo, which is essential as well.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, just kind of like as soon as you start listening to punk rock, you kind of like, oh, here's the Minor Threat. Go.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how that works, honestly.
Yeah.
Like for me, this was my first like classic punk hardcore band. Like it was the first one I was exposed to. Like around the same time of Dookie coming out. I was a skate kid and all my skater friends, and we had the local crust punk who is a myth and a legend and a wonderful human being, who is still around, owns a tattoo shop, super great guy. His name is C.W. Neese. And my introduction to him was we were out skateboarding, hanging out, and we walked around and he was outside his apartment with a chain, swinging it because he was really into Ghost Rider. And I fell in love with him instantaneously because I knew who Ghost Rider was, and that made me very happy. But anyway, he made this tape for a friend of mine at the time, Hunter, and it was one side was Minor Threat's complete discography. The other side was D.I.'s Live at a Dive, which was the more punk side of this, more where Minor Threat was more hardcore. So I heard this record before I heard Dead Kennedys. I heard it before I heard Black Flag. I heard it before I heard Misfits. This was my first like classic hardcore record, and changed my life forever and ever. And I love it. It's amazing. And I love Fugazi a lot too, just because I love this vibe of punk and hardcore more so than the other vibe of punk and hardcore that I know, other than Gorilla Biscuits, but that's a completely different thing. And we'll get to that when we cover Quicksand. Anyway, yeah.
Coming up next month too. Yeah, that's there. I downloaded the album back in the LimeWire days, and you put all this on one CD, and like you get to the end, and you just play it again, and you play it again.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I bought this on CD knowing, because I had heard stuff, and once it was, like, it's a complete discography. Just get it and go. And if you don't like it, like, whatever, it's one CD. But yeah, I don't think you can say you like punk rock if you don't like this album.
Yeah.
This is one of the quintessential cornerstones of it, especially coming from hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah, more so it is definitely as far as the hardcore scene, which has definitely become separate from the punk scene in a way over the years, just because punk is kind of.
Sure.
I mean, it's an offshoot. I'm not saying as much as like death metal is an offshoot of thrash or whatever. Like it's just a separate genre. But hardcore, and the fact that it's so old, has its own unique ethos and scene. It is different. It is separate. It is weirdly unique and separate. It is an offspring that has somehow lasted. And this record in particular, and Straight Edge in particular, is very fucking important with that. And this was I guess you could argue that there was other bands that had the same ethos, but this was the first one to give it a name. And I've never been straight edge. Hell, when I was 12 when I first heard this, or maybe 12 or 13 when I first heard this, like I wasn't straight edge then. I was a dumb punk skate kid, and I was bad and don't make better decisions as you should. You should make better decisions than me. But like, I appreciate the ethic and the pure intensity of straight edge bands, because dude, they're not getting an escape through inebriation. They're not getting some sort of altered state of consciousness. They are the most realist motherfuckers on the planet, and they're pissed off about it. And you should listen to that, because that translates musically into something that is just it's unique and powerful in its own way. And I've never been straight edge. I never will be straight edge. Just not my scene. But I support any straight edge band, because you're going to make music that other people couldn't make. Honestly, it's insane.
I tried for like 3 days.
I felt that if I was just smoking cigarettes in high school, I was kind of straight edge. You know what I mean? That was the vibe I got. But yeah.
Well, and I think everything you just said about straight edge actually applies to hardcore in general. Yeah. They were a bunch of pissed off kids with nothing better to do. Minor threats, in fact. And
it's a promise.
Yeah, just it's all about doing it yourself and not caring what other people think, and get out there and do it. And if that involves creating your own record label that has steadily become one of the largest independent labels in America over the last 40 years, good on you. And if you don't, it doesn't matter. Do it anyway.
Yeah, for real.
And you don't have to be straight edge to like Minor Threat at all.
No, you don't. Obviously, that was my whole point. I'm not.
But even the song.
So I came in. One of my gateways into punk rock in general was through the crossover scene. Bands that kind of did punk and metal, like COC or Agnostic Front. Suicidal Tendencies,
Cro-Mags,
oh, great band, and so you like every single one of them.
That New York,
every single one of them.
New York and DC, like those two scenes were so important to the whole hardcore thing forever.
Yeah, forever. And most of the stuff that came out of those scenes is gold, and and then beyond what it had influenced. This changed the world, and still holds up, still sounds as fresh and as relevant today. There's a couple songs that maybe are problematic, but only if you choose to let them be.
It's true. I didn't mention Stray Cat Blues when we were talking about Rolling Stones previously. So yeah, problematic is a thing. You know, it happens back in the day for sure.
Yeah.
Even like bands still like Rise Against covers Minor Threat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Rage Against the
Yeah.
Machine, who we also have covered, have
Yeah.
the best cover of Out of Step I've ever heard. Not Out of Step, sorry, In My Eyes. I'm an
Yeah,
idiot.
that's a great cover. Of course, Slayer has done 3 of these songs.
Yeah, they have. One of them has a very problematic ending for them, but otherwise, great cover.
And of course, there's a cover on here too.
Yeah.
Is this the greatest version of Stepping Stone ever recorded?
Of course it is. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a great song, and everybody's covered it.
I mean, for the
and
longest
this is
time,
the best one.
Yeah, for the longest time, I didn't know it was a cover at all. I had no idea. I just thought it was a cool, groovy song. And then later in life, I found out. I was like, oh, wow. That is, that's hilarious and wonderful.
Yeah.
Good for them. It's the Monkees, right? The Monkees, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Just making sure.
Correct. But that's also a song like the Sex Pistols had covered, so they would have been aware of that.
Okay.
And God, who else has covered? There's other covers out there that are escaping me right now, but
not as good as
yeah,
this.
I always saw this one as kind of a direct response to the Sex Pistols cover. So, but doing it better.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like I feel like wherever they recorded it, like the producer was like, "Oh, I know
Inner ear,
this.
right?
I know this." It gets special treatment production wise with the whole fade in of everything, and it's just it sounds different from everything else. Other than I mean, there's some parts on the Salad Days EP which is more production wise things happening, but it was just also the first time I was like, I remember being over at Jonah Adams and Rocky Adams's place, and we were all jamming out, and he started playing the bass line of this, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this because I know this. This is excellent," and it was just wonderful. And then he was like, "Yeah, you like the Monkees?" I was like, "No, I like Minor Threat," and I was like, "Oh, this is a cover." Okay, like literally that happened. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jonah and Rocky wherever you are.
I think Rocky is in Portland.
Nice.
Jonah's still around here. We don't chat much. I will say that we have to bring up Discord and the fact that they were in the first ethical label, as far as I know. Like they only put out every band that was on there had to play shows for $5 or less, and the CDs were always $10. It didn't matter. Like they have a very they haven't changed. It's very DIY. They ran it out of Ian's house for the longest time. Super important record label, and it's just rad. I don't know. I think that's awesome.
I was lucky enough to have the 10-year box set for a while until it was relieved of my possession. And then I recently got Discord 200. I was able to get in on that pre-order. That was a special reproduction box set of the first 6-7 inches that Discord put out. It's pretty sweet. So
it's awesome. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Discord's great.
Super influential band. Like, because I got into, Green Day's Dookie. You know, that's how my descent into punk rock went with like, oh, they were on Lookout. Who else is on Lookout? Oh, okay, let's check out, Screech and Weasel and Mr. T and all these bands. So like I didn't get to the Minor Threat hardcore side until much later.
Yeah, I was definitely introduced through hardcore, and so it definitely shapes your opinion on things. And I've noticed too that as I get older and see more of the world, the more I appreciate these 16-year-old kids putting out music that I'm still listening to 40 plus years later. It's so good.
Just at a time, man, when like it wasn't as easy to do. Like kids today can do the same thing, and it's so easy. But holy shit. I don't know. It's crazy to me.
All right, some top songs. Mine would be filler for one. Like that's how
Yep.
you start a fucking album.
Yep.
Repeat.
Yep.
Also, as somebody raised in the South, super good song and super important to my development as an intellectual being. It's amazing. Call it religion. You're full of shit. So,
I mean, I love I Don't Want to Hear It. I love In My Eyes. I love Minor Threat. I love Good Guys Don't Wear White's pretty fun. Yeah, Stepping Stone is great. Small Man, Big Mouth. I mean, God, there's so many classics on here. So many classics.
Yeah,
Out of Step is amazing. And
Out
I'd
of
say Out of
Step,
Step
yeah.
is the most straight edge song than Straight Edge, even. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Sob Story. Dude, Someday We'll Look Back and Laugh is like literally I like as a 13-year-old hearing that, I was like, I hope that's the case, man. And that, you know what? It's true. It's the case, man. Someday you will look back and laugh, and it's gonna be awesome.
back on the
Yeah, those are
sound.
some of my favorite songs, though. I guess they're more of the hits, but they're just bangers. Just
I mean,
absolute
honestly,
bangers.
I would say there's less hits on this discography than hits. Like, for real. I mean, wait, there's less non-hits than hits for sure. Like, I'd say like 3/4 of this are hits.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
All right, sorry.
I mean, it's a great album. And yeah, if you like punk rock music and you haven't heard this, run and go buy whatever copy you can find.
Yeah, which there's multiple.
Stream it, whatever. You got to listen to it.
Yeah, this is like absolutely necessary. If you're into punk rock, if you're into hardcore, if you're into fucking rock and roll, this record is integral to your musical development as a human being. Like, you should listen to this at least once. You don't have to like it, but you need to listen to it at least once for sure.
Yeah, it's much better than most things that you would hear post 2004.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you're in a famous rock band and you haven't heard this record, that probably explains why I don't like your fucking band. You should probably go listen to this record.
And if you're in a band and you have heard this band and this discography, it's probably why I like your band.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I have a theory that like most bands I hear in the mainstream rock world or whatever, if I like them, I'll go and find out that like 2 or 3 of the members were like hardcore kids growing up. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, if you've got this in your soul, like, you're probably gonna make decent music no matter what you make. Honestly, it's a good.
And we got to
Like,
shout out, of course, Brian Baker's in Bad Religion for however long he's been there, and they're a classic as well. Brian Baker also has a new band with Dennis Lixine from The Refused called Fake Names. You should check that out.
I haven't heard about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's it's great. It's great. It's not hardcore as much as it's more classic punk, but it's.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
Brian Baker's doing it.
Old Dennis has always been a little retro with his tastes and expressions.
That's true.
Totally understand.
That is true. Yeah.
We're gonna get to Bad Religion one day.
Like, we're gonna get to Refuse too, motherfucker. I can't wait for that shit.
And the International Noise Conspiracy.
We can combine them, honestly, because I think that would be like 7 records. That'll be fine. That'll be good.
Well, I think Refuse have 6 or 7 now, and so the International Noise Conspiracy. So
I only think Refuse technically have 4 or 5. I think.
Do you want to put those against International and have like some kind of?
Yeah, we could have a band battle. I already know my choice, so I don't know what kind of battle it would be, but it'd be fun.
We could discuss that.
Yeah. Well, it's something to look forward to, guys. And by the way, if you think that would be a fun idea, you should leave a comment and maybe join the Patreon and pay us to do it. Just saying. I'd do it. That sounds like an awesome idea. If I weren't a part of this, I would spend money to have somebody else do that. Honestly, that would be great.
Yeah, we're gonna work out. We're gonna go through the years. Wait till you do 1989.
Good year.
Dude, 90 is already going to be rough, and 91 is going to be even rougher, and then 94. Dude, I don't know if we'll survive that. So If anything, donate to the Patreon so we can get BetterHelp. Brought to you by BetterHelp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can get some real sponsors instead of Burger King from 1989.
Yeah,
Wow, that's a real sponsor.
I do think it's hilarious we're talking about sponsors on a minor threat thing, though.
Exactly.
While drinking.
Well, to be fair, you don't have to be straight edge to enjoy minor threat. It just, they're going to be awesome no matter what.
We're the living proof of that.
Yeah.
No, you just have to be in youthful rebellion.
Yeah, it's true.
If you were ever a teenager and were angry at the world, you're going to love this. If you're an adult and you're angry at the world, you're going to love this.
Hell, if you're an adult and you're angry at the world, you should listen to this and maybe vent and maybe get better. Because holy shit, guys,
Yeah, right? Exactly. DIY or die.
Yeah, even the production fits the record. Like, it's just,
Oh, yeah.
you have to hear this fucking record.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because especially for hardcore, like, there's great production here. They actually went into a studio and had a producer. And it's a great production, especially for hardcore.
Yeah, the guitars sound absolutely amazing. The drums sound amazing. Ian sounds mad as fuck. Like, everything is amazing on this. It sounds great.
Yep.
And I will point this out. If you're one of those people that has seen the band photo on the stairwell of the house, don't be that person. Don't go to that house and take your picture on it for Instagram.
I just saw somebody do it the other day.
It happens every day, and it pisses me off every time. I'm like, respect these people's privacy. You aren't as
I
you
do
aren't
love
that. Shut the fuck up. Like,
I do love that Minor Threat themselves get together every year and recreate it.
And that's why it's special for them. You are not Minor Threat. You are not allowed.
Right.
Stay away. Take
That's
a picture.
An iconic fucking album cover, though. That is fucking iconic.
Yeah, man.
Sure. Yep.
Listen to Mystery Signals.
You got anything else to add?
Listen to Misery
Sucks they didn't put out more stuff.
Yeah, it sucks they didn't put out more stuff, but it also, like, it captures it perfectly.
Yeah, it adds the mystique. Like, it was one and done and worth it, and it's awesome.
A lot like the Misfits, kind of, where it's like so.
Kind of, yeah.
Except
not a lot of hardcore. So much hardcore. You get like one single out, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need, really. If you can make it work longer than that, you're doing something right.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure there's still kids discovering this record like today.
Oh yeah, for sure, and they always will. As long as there's some angry kid who likes guitars, they're gonna.
I mail 12 copies to every local high school in my neighborhood every year. When they ask for the toy drive or the pencil drive or whatever drive they're doing at the school, slip them a copy of this.
Yeah.
This is all you need.
Don't mail records to your local schools. You'll be put on a watch list of some sort.
Yeah, that's why he's out in the woods right now hiding.
Yeah,
I'm not in the woods. I'm in a parking lot.
You look like you're on a CCR album cover.
I mean, you do. Yeah. You're on the West Coast at least, so it's at least somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trees match the bayou.
Down on the bayou of Middle California.
Yeah. Them Sonoma Valley bayous are deep.
I mean, the Santa Ana winds, man. Sometimes they create bayous for.
That's true. That is true. I saw the news 2 weeks ago.
Oh, dude, I've just always heard of that. I'm terrified of California. I don't know why anybody would live there. It's terrifying.
Well, you should go and find out. It's a lovely
I lived
state.
through hurricane season, and I'm terrified of California. All right, like, I'm just saying, it's scary.
Not me. Well, Tim was talking about the weather there earlier. I'm like, that sounds nice.
That's the price of sin.
It is hot in Texas.
It's hot here too, though. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're bad about getting off topic here. Minor Threat kicks ass.
Well and good.
Do it. Subscribe. Make good decisions.
Listen to Misery Signals.
Be safe. Check out our socials. Show us your records in our Discord. That's all I got. Till
Yeah.
next time.
Someday.
And
we'll look
seriously,
back.
if you want to do it, do it.
Yeah. What's stopping you? What's
Just
wrong with
do
you?
it.
Just fucking do it.